Let's take a moment to talk about what co-teaching looks like in the beginning, middle, and end of this experience. For starters, from the very first day, the teacher candidate will be engaging with students. They will be teaching, talking, and assisting from the very first day of class. Also, and from the very beginning, they are going to be contributing ideas. They're going to be becoming familiar with state standards, district curriculum guides, and instructional materials. And the teacher candidate is expected to be participating in the planning, instruction, and assessment of students. Now, remember that this is a learning experience, and so the cooperating teacher will be leading in the beginning of this. So they will be guiding the novice teacher through the practice of planning, instructing, and assessing. So what this means for cooperating teachers is you will spend a lot of time in the beginning verbalizing the planning process, what you're thinking about, and why you make the decisions that you do. You will also spend a lot of time reflecting on daily lessons about things that went well and areas for improvement. Know that as this experience continues, some of that time spent on the cooperating teacher's end will begin to lessen. Also, there are certain co-teaching strategies that lend themselves to use more easily in the beginning. Some of those could be like one teach, one assist, station teaching, or team teaching. Now let's look at what co-teaching looks like in the middle. If you think of this as a pendulum, in the very beginning, behind the scenes, the cooperating teacher is leading. Then, as you get to the middle of the experience, the pendulum has now shifted to the middle, and now you see both the cooperating teacher and the teacher candidate equally sharing in their responsibilities behind the scenes. And you will see at the end of the experience, the pendulum will have shifted to the other side, and the teacher candidate will be doing all of the leading behind the scenes, and the cooperating teacher will be assisting. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is, in front of the students, in the student's mind, there's really no change. It's always seamlessly two teachers teaching together in a classroom. But behind the scenes, the workload is being shared differently. So, in the middle of the experience, you'll see that you're co-planning. So you're partners and you're sharing the lead. Slowly, during the middle, the cooperating teacher will be backing off the leading and letting the teacher candidate lead more and more. Also, in the middle of the experience, you should be implementing all 7 co-teaching strategies. These strategies should be used at least 3 times during the entire co-teaching experience. Remember, don't use these strategies randomly. You want to select the strategies to give you the best outcome in student performance in your classroom. And here's something we haven't talked about. Co-teaching is happening 75 to 80% of the time. But that means that the teacher candidate is actually solo teaching 20% to 25% of the day. This can take forms in many ways. It could be that they literally teach 1/5 of the school day or 1/4 of the school day. Or if you look at the week and you see that you have 5 days in a week, the teacher candidate could actually own an entire day in the week. So you co-teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then they get to solo teach the entire day on Friday. You should really do a blend of both of these, allowing them to teach solo different lessons during the week, and then also give them the opportunity to solo teach an entire day. The one thing to keep in mind is what you're not doing is you're not taking all of the weeks of student teaching and saying, okay, now let's look at 20% of these you're going to teach on your own, where then the teacher candidate is teaching for an entire week or 2 weeks by themselves. That's not what we're doing here. It's just a portion of a day or just one day out of a week. And then the last thing to notice is midway through the experience, very important to continue reflecting on instruction and assessment. The cooperating teacher needs to lead the teacher candidate through thoughts beyond just creating engaging lessons. The cooperating teacher and students and the teacher candidate need to reflect on the effectiveness of lessons using data from formative and summative assessments. And now let's look at the end of the experience. Remember I said the pendulum has now shifted to the other side. So now behind the scenes, the teacher candidate is actually leading the co-planning. The teacher candidate will actually tell the cooperating teacher what they want the teacher to do and help with in the lesson. You will still be using an extrapolating all 7 co-teaching strategies, the teacher candidate will be able to specify why a certain co-teaching strategy is being employed in a lesson. No random selection of co-teaching strategies. Each strategy should be used 3 times throughout this entire experience. Also, the teacher candidate should be constructing a valid assessment. They should be able to align test questions to standards and outcomes in our curriculum. Teacher candidates will use formative and summative assessments to evaluate student comprehension of content. And again, remember that they are co-teaching 75 to 80% of the time, but they're allowed to solo teach 25 to 20% of the time. Remember again that this could look like a portion of the day, or it could be one day out of the week, and you should use both. And by the end of this experience, our goal is that they will have displayed competencies of a teacher.